I get the competitors at the stage. My name is Eric Ruelle, and I will be in favor of fate.
I'm Tom Harrison. I'm doing free will, and let it be known that I always drop my pages one by one. I'm not simply biting Stephanie's style.
Oh, that's your style. Yours.
All right, let's do this. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Are you ready? Yes, I am. Right Club audience, are you ready? My time begins now. I, Eric Ruelle, did not, to the best of my knowledge, drag you through a rosebed of ferocious wolverines to come to this. Personal beliefs aside, you did not manifest nor evolve in those spots. Instead, you made a conscientious decision to physically bring your bodies and minds here. But is this an act of fate or free will? To say that by some divine intervention of fate, we of diverse backgrounds, genders, sexualities, races, perspectives, abilities, and creeds were somehow brought together tonight for this singular lifetime event would be purely speculative on my behalf. However, this coincidence is significant. If free will led you here this evening, ask yourself exactly why. You may know one of the writers, be curious about what this show was, or you have enjoyed Right Clubs in the past. Regardless, your previous experiences have given you reason. How much free will do you think you have? If your life is made up of a series of choices, how would you know which decision to make without having had previous experiences? We know not to put your hand on the surface of a stove if you don't want to get burned, and to avoid eating too much dairy at all costs. If I hadn't taken my mother's advice in 6th grade to beat up the varsity football players who used to bully me, I would have never learned about the importance of standing up for myself. When I was mugged on Cinco de Mayo sophomore year, my new sense of awareness a month later probably saved 4 lives, including my own, when I was traveling overseas. So when you begin to connect the dots, it all kind of makes sense. And then you realize free will is just false advertising, because your experiences give you reason, and reason influences your everyday actions, which guides your fate. I understand the stigma though, and fate is not 3 witches standing around a cauldron charting out the course of your life. It is not the metaphorical or literal oncoming of a storm, a semi, or wayward bird shit coming to crash into you. Good or bad, fate is opportunity. It is the proverbial fork in the road, and what you do with those opportunities is completely up to you. Remember the girl who didn't just look at you. That job promotion you worked your ass off for, that one Saturday night in December. Thank fate for all those opportunities, those chances to succeed. But when we have those moments, you're left asking yourselves, what was I thinking? That totally was not how that was supposed to go down. Free will is what happens when you ignore reason. That's why you can't explain why bad things happen sometimes. Global warming, the Antichrist, sexually transmitted diseases, and Chris Brown are all byproducts of free will. Now, as a representative of fate, I think it's appropriate to admit that my relationship with fate has been difficult, especially over situations I can control. See, I am as good at dating as I am at bowling. It takes the right approach, method, and follow-through in order to do well and not land in the gutter, but it happens. And it is hard to unlearn how amazing you think a person is, like all of a sudden they're nowhere near as beautiful, smart, or funny as you thought they were 2 days ago. It's not possible. So what do? You bury yourself in the work you got and try to replace the feelings. So where are you now? Overstressed with work, unhappy, and suffocating the feelings you once could express, telling yourself, it is meant to be, then it will be. Can you blame anyone for wanting to listen to free will at that point? It's like being taken advantage of at your most vulnerable. Instead, it is just quick and easy to curse something omnipotent like fate for your negative situations, and then walk away anything but disappointed. Though I may not have faith, I do have hope. Hope that fate gives me another chance. That a million broken hearts and torn out, crumpled up notebook poems isn't my destiny. And before I leave, please consider the following. Through a series of events unrelated to what I've been talking about, I volunteered for the neo-futurists who introduced me to the Chicago lit scene, and because of that, I learned about Right Club, founded and hosted by Ian Belknap. I started Right Club here at DePaul because I honestly thought deep down I would never get a shot at a show like that. And the writers on campus had an arsenal of their own, an untapped minefield of talent. 5 shows later, on the eve of so many historic moments for this show, my subject is fate. And Mr. Belknap sits somewhere in this audience for the first time. Well, Ian, I still want that shot. Not because I feel like I deserve it, and certainly not because this is fate's work, but because you've got to admit, the coincidence is pretty fucking significant. Thank you.
I am ready.
Red Club audience, are you ready?
Your time begins now.
Now, I know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm supposed to recite some short story about a woman breaking out from under her oppressive, abusive boyfriend as she realizes she doesn't owe him anything and she can make her own choices. Or shed manly tears as I tell a vaguely personal story about bad choices made regarding some anonymous girl, the way those choices changed the path of my life. And every night I lie awake thinking about that one word I didn't have the courage to say. The audience whispering, "Oh my God, is he talking about himself? Is this real? He's so sensitive." And then I get mad bitches telling me I'm sensitive, and I'm all, "Yeah, baby, let's go see how sensitive I am." Which is totally something I would say, and those who know me can attest that that phrase well encapsulates who I am, what I'm about, where I'm going, etc. I could decide to fail at humor and pretend to perceive my subject to be some sort of movement to free a man named Will, all free Mumia style. I could just talk about how fate makes slaves of us all, and America's founding fathers would rip their own eyeballs out in fury had they known their vision of a land free of gods or kings was sullied by subservience to the mental prison that is fatalism. I could do any of those things, but I choose not to. They want me to defend free will, but I will not. Free will sucks. Fuck free will. It sucks and I hate it. Now, you may be wondering literally anything, since I can't read your mind, and human creativity has no bounds, which is the very concept we gather here today to celebrate. But if my rhetorical strategies have been effective thus far, you're most likely to be thinking, why I have anything against free will? To be concise, I'm an English major. Now, unless I'm some sort of preternaturally proactive, probably android like Eric Ruelle, my job prospects are going to be slim. My skills, while greatly edifying to my own mind and enjoyment of the world, are not what you'd call marketable. I've had enough barbers and small group member classmates ask me if I'm becoming a teacher to last a lifetime, and I've got that good-natured laugh, and you never know, down well enough to hide the gurgling magma pools of rage their dumb mouths heat up. I look at my impending graduation with the kind of fear protagonists in postmodern novels have for death and not being in shitty books. And the worst part is that I chose all of this out of my own free will. I chose to be an English major. I chose to stay up all night playing Team Fortress 2 instead of generating content or networking or whatever bullshit word you're supposed to keep on repeating to yourself until the job berry comes and validates your existence. It's all because of me. So what do? Blame myself? Fuck no! If I could do that, I'd have flipped the script years ago and I wouldn't be in this situation. It's fate. It has to be. Think about it. Doesn't this make sense? There's a snake god, it's like a snake-headed god, who sleeps in the Earth's core, whose fever dreams vibrate the fabric of more dimensions than our fat-based nervous system can perceive, his unconscious whims dictating the paths of our lives. Seems pretty sensible to me. What's your problem? For example, did you treat your friend or significant other wrong? Ain't your fault, snake god did it. Did you take a long look in the mirror and shake in shame and fear at the years you're shaving from your life with food, alcohol, drugs, lethargy, and feel deep in your stomach that roiling molasses tempest of guilt as you realize that despite all your acknowledgments, you're not going to do anything about it. You're going to do it again tonight, tomorrow, and every night. Not your fault, snake god ate a whole shit ton of pudding before he went to sleep. Silly snake god, don't he know that's wrong? Didn't come to Right Club 5? That one's on you, bitch. Snake god and me are tight. Snake god's bro. He wouldn't do that shit. I mean, I know there's no real snake god, but I choose peace. I choose self-assurance. Well, that's not actually true. This is all an elaborate lie meant to entertain you. It's up to you to choose whether or not I succeeded at that. But free will by itself, kind of a boring topic. I don't want to write about that. I freely chose something else. And see, that's the beauty of free will. The world can funnel us into narrower and narrower paths until our existence seems plunged to the day. You're gonna write about free will, Tom, they'd say. But remember, you can always flip the table over and say, fuck this shit, I'm out. So if Eric gets up in my grill about my piece, it's just because he can't understand how meta I am. In conclusion, all must worship Snake God, or the heretics shall perish by my righteous hand.
Once again, my name's Eric, and I was for fate.
I'm Tom, and I was speaking about free will.
Can I get a round of applause for free will?
Can't do it again? The recap?
You can do a tie for
Oh, okay. I would like to recap.
There are no ties in Right Club.
There are no ties in Right Club.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right.
Snake God did it.
Can I get a round of applause for free will? Can I get a round of applause for fate?
Hurry up, you only have 5 seconds. Okay, we're gonna say free will.